Hello everyone, this is Josh Oakes. In this video, I'm really excited to present to you 7 tactical PR tips. I'm honored to have Tracy Williams, President and CEO of Olmstead Williams Communications, on the phone. Tracy, welcome to the video.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, it's an honor to have you here. We met. Not every PR person is somebody I want to sit next to on a plane for an hour, and I got the great opportunity to do that with you a couple months ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with you, talking with you, and learning from you, because this is going to be an exciting one. A, everyone that's watching this video is going to get tactical tips they can immediately start using on their small business. B, Tracy is more than just an expert in her industry. She looks at every industry, and she is, as you'll see, she's amazing. So I'm excited to dive right into this, Tracy. I'm honored that you're here. Can you walk us through the 7 tactical PR tips that you're going to share with us today?
Yeah, sure. I really look at public relations for any company as a puzzle. So you've got to find all the different pieces to tell your story. What is the larger story of you or your industry or of who you are? You need to know who your buyer is. You need to know where you fit into the news cycle. You need to tell a good story. You need to be very well informed about all aspects of your industry and other industries as well. Persistence is the key to all success when you're dealing with media. You want to connect at all of the various platforms that are available now, not just print or broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to leave you with the idea of becoming a bit of a news junkie, which is what everyone here in my organization is.
I love that.
I'll tell you more what a news junkie is. It sounds bad, but it's not.
I think you're a good example of that, and you do a great job. I'm excited about that. Well, let's jump into tip number 1. Talk to us about what it means to identify your buyer and/or decision maker.
Yeah, everybody, companies, you say, oh, well, I know who's going to be buying my products. Depending on whether it's a consumer audience or a business audience. You may know that IBM is going to buy your product, or you may know that it's women between the age of 25 and 49, or if you're service, you can say it's going to be other lawyers. But who exactly is it? In other words, within a company, where in the C-suite or where in the supply chain, who is that person? Mm-hmm. Is it, some guy in an office who handles acquisitions? Because if that's the case, you need to talk to him. You don't need to talk to the CEO.
True. And
when you decide who that decision maker is, and if it's women between the ages of 25 and 45, who influences their decision? Maybe it's other women. Maybe it's mothers specifically who are going to buy or use your product or services. So you need to know very, very specifically who that person is, what do they look like, what motivates them, because probably the most important thing is what is it that makes the person decide to buy you. Is it your price? Is it your product? Is it you're just solving a problem? Are you part of a group of products that are going to be sold? So all of those things are so critical to understanding. And then you need to know, where do those people get their information? Mm-hmm. If it's a guy in the closet of the hospital who's an acquisitions person, he's not getting his information from trade publications necessarily. He may only read the sports section. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to reach him with more direct communications. And then as you figure all of that out, you have to figure out what your one single overriding communications objective is, and that is, what problem do you solve? And when you can answer that with one sentence, you've developed a SOCO, and that's why we call it single overriding communications objective. And you want to make sure in all of your communications, in media or when you're presenting in a newsletter or just in communications, that you deliver that SOCO.
I love that. That's really great. Cool. So walk us through how we know where we fit in the news.
Well, we know that on all of the platforms, social media platforms, broadcast, it's all about content. We all talk about how content is king. But when you're a small enterprise or even a mid-sized enterprise, or if you're not publicly traded, really context is what it's all about. You've got to fit into the larger story. What is the big content story? And then how does your company or product or your expertise fit into that news cycle? I just came from lunch with a guy who's a food lawyer, and we were immediately talking about what his response was the day that the scandal came out about the horse meat being in all of these products. Mm-hmm. What are you going to say about the horse meat in the products? Well, you have one day to fit into that news cycle. Mm-hmm. And while he may not be a big name or mm-hmm. from a big law firm, he had some interesting comments to make about horse meat, how that has fit in the history of food products, other scandals that have been out there, and he had some real thought leadership to offer reporters.
Interesting.
And you need to be creative about where you might fit in. Maybe you really want your story. You think, oh gosh, my story is a business story. I want to be on the business pages. But because you're not publicly traded, because you're not big enough, maybe that's not the place for you at all. Mm. Maybe you need to be in an industry trade publication that covers your industry. Maybe you need to be on a blog or craft a blog that's focused in an area that's going to hit that target audience.
So true. Yeah. I've heard you use the word publicly traded a couple of times. That's a really interesting point. If you're not big enough, you need to be really creative about where you should go so that they will.
It's a real problem because you can't, everybody wants to be in the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or the LA Times. But we have to remember with the role of a newspaper, a role of broadcast, the role of major news organizations is to provide information to investors, to other companies. It's the broader audience. So your little company story just isn't that interesting. However, how you got there might be interesting. Maybe you have a personal story that goes with your business that would make it more interesting. Sometimes we've worked with lawyers before, and I had a lawyer, and he went running with the bulls in Pamplona. Well, we got him a really great story in the New York Times because he went running with the bulls, and he was just a lawyer.
That's great.
But that gave him some name recognition and attention. So what is it about you personally or your family? Think of the other areas of your business that may not be your business but that are interesting and newsworthy. So that's part of your creativity, is to find those other options.
I love that. So tell us about this next slide, how to tell a good story and then challenge it.
Well, you really want to think about what is your headline. Before I mentioned to you SOCOs, your single overriding communication.
I hope you're enjoying this video so far. This has been a preview of the Media Leaders Virtual Conference, where you can learn social media, PR, marketing, and sales. There's 20+ tactical presentations to build your business. You can learn more about it at MediaLeaders.com or register using the link below this video, right below it. Maybe it's above it, but probably below. Now, this conference, you're probably asking, why should I even register? Well, don't buy a plane ticket, don't reserve a hotel room, or don't even leave the office, because we're bringing 24 of the best social media, PR, marketing, and sales professionals directly to you, and we call it the Media Leaders Virtual Conference. It's a little bit different. You can register, like I mentioned, at MediaLeaders.com or use the link below this video. It's designed for small and mid-sized businesses that want online techniques and real-world business advice that's tactical. We're going to give you 7 tactical tips in less than 45 minutes from each one of our professionals, over 24 presenters, that you're going to get the chance to dive in deep into their subject matter. They're experts in their field, and they're the hardworking people that we admire and that we want to hire here at Media Leaders. You can watch the presentations on your schedule at any time as long as you want. Also, if you accept our bonus at the end, you get a free copy of my best-selling book, Light, Bright, and Polite. And as if that's not enough, you get a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied. I hope you'll join us at the Media Leaders Virtual Conference. You can register at MediaLeaders.com or click the link below this video. I look forward to seeing you at the conference. Have a great day.